Okay, guys. Okay. Let me just scroll down to my magnificently long calendar for the 1 month you've been together. Let's see what you guys have gotten up to last session. So, you guys got up to a bunch. Uh, Ludwig, you woke up and let's see, you talked a great deal with your father about um, your your place in the family, which is out of the family, your place in your new family, and the relevance of you finding a wife and producing heirs as soon as possible. Um, you find yourself having a weight on your shoulders. You've spent most of your life with the weight of defending your country as a warrior. That has been your duty for so long as to the nation of Karnath, protecting its people and fighting, maybe even giving your life in the name of your country. Now it's completely changed, a mind-boggling dichotomy, Ludwig. You are now, your new job is to the dragon-marked House of Leora, which bears no national responsibilities, and to produce children, which is not something as the fourth child of your house you thought you maybe might have to worry
Yeah.
about too intensely. But here you are with a grand responsibility, being the only member of your Citted Viceroy Council that doesn't have necessary complications with producing children,
Yeah.
or at least Dragonmark children anyway. So the expectation and burden, whether your compatriots have made it out to you or not, it has been by your father, and the burden is heavily paid. But with that, you have returned to Horth, where you met Rowan, who had quite an adventure of her own. Rowan, on the way back from Carlacton, trained her ass off, got her ass whooped, and happily so, apparently, and made a strong bond of friendship with the Baron Dennis, which is no small diplomatic contact to have. And on the way back, throughout the middle of the night, you were awoken by a ringing bell by the nearby village of Vergensly, where you stopped and helped in the defense of a strange lightning creature. The warriors of Karnath proved their mettle and were able to come out not only alive but victorious, uh, dealing with very few wounds. It was made apparent to Euron after providing excellent care to the wounded in the village that there was a Leora dragon marked heir amongst them, a young boy uh, named Anakin Scott. No, wait, sorry, that's not it. Um, where are you? There we. Oh, nope, you're part of House Leora. That's where you are in the docks.
Does this make
Uh,
Rowan Qui-Gon?
Rowan de Chin. Um, So Papa, Mama, and apparently Lord Vedem Sattler have all come with Rowan and at great expense traveled all the way to Fairhaven, as it seems that little boy Vedim is no longer a peasant boy, but a dragon-marked heir all of the magical sudden, literally. They were all very starstruck to be treated quite well on their journey home, seeing the beautiful city of Fairhaven and put it in the finest of establishments. Um, yeah, we're gonna probably see more of them. But meanwhile, we tune in with Cross, who spent the week really just schmoozing and carousing, laughing, paying for expensive drinks, and forming some intense bonds with the not only the Queen of Aundair, but the first warlord of Aundair. Um, if anyone knows anything about Aundair, the Queen is considered the figurehead of leadership in Aundair, but the truth of the political matter is, and I think Cross should be privy to this now, is that leadership is shared by three individuals: the Queen, the First Warlord, and their brother. So many names. Their brother Governor Oradir Reinhardt. So the three of them make decisions for Aundair, and it's usually a 2v1. One's always got a problem with the other two, whatever decision it may be. Now you're friends with two people in pretty intense bonds with two people on this small unofficial ruling council of Onder, no small amount of schmoozing happened. You all convened back in Fairhaven to where you began plotting. Rowan spoke of the new young heir to the amount of interestingness that is, and spoke of the future about establishing, as it was suggested by the warlord Draeger, to begin establishing a guild so that you could begin making money as diplomats. And also, you guys started to bat around with the idea of creating a headquarters that was offered to you by your patroness for your magnificent job, the Baroness Fjarlin, to either be to create a headquarters somewhere or to establish an outpost in the Dragon Tower in Sharn. Those would be the two places that are highly recommended, and she would fund you for either. And you all decided, let's aim high, baby. The Castle Galifar technically is a historical building now that the last war is over and a peace treaty's been signed. So politically, it's going to make some people in the nations unhappy. But legally, there's no reason why you couldn't if you know the right people, talk the right words. So that is where we pick up today. It is the 5th of Olaroon, which is the later month of winter. So you'll feel the cold winds beginning to dull down now. You find yourselves. Oh, hang on. I forgot them last week. I'm not going to forget them this week. Let us start with our rumor phase. You're all back on there. Let's see what rumors are still afloat or newly afloat in the city. So, discontent in Fairhaven, a scandal still seems to be on the loose. There has been some disfavor expressed by the common folks about the endless and dangerous dramas with the dragon-marked houses as of late. Scandal. This tension seems to be exaggerated due to national tensions towards Karnath, specifically Zorlon de Cannith, who is well known as a Karnathi patriot and follower of the Blood of Vol. That seems to be a rumor that has held water since last you've been in Fairhaven, or Onder, I should say. The rumor of unrequited love remains strong and well. Lord Ludwig Eardrager has been seen at court with Lady Marina de Madani being exceptionally complimentary of her craft. But for some reason, Ludwig is apprehensive to court her despite their underlying spark. Perhaps Ludwig is quick to understand how Dragon-marked house matchmaking works. That remains strong and well, it seems. And last but not least, because Ludwig has poured as much fuel in the fire as possible for this rumor, it remains afloat even now. Marina de Madani is trustworthy. There are a few more trustworthy people in Fairhaven than Lady Marina de Madani. Indeed, you could trust her with your deepest, darkest secrets, and she would take it to the grave. There is one new rumor that is afloat in Fairhaven since last you've been here, which is about the popular ambassador. Viceroy Cross de Leora has been seen all week at court at the side of the Queen and the first warlord of Onder. Truly, the war-forged ambassador of Ciri must be the most talented diplomat of his house. Would anyone like to scandalize a rumor or use a token of favor to try and burn one out? Nope.
Tempted to, but no.
All right. Hey, no one said the rumor bill is nice. Is kind. Okay, that is our rumor phase. It comes to our epistolary phase. I have 2 letters for you guys. Unfortunately, Lois isn't here to receive hers. She will get hers next week. So I will just have to pass along the one to Ludwig. Ludwig, there is a letter from Karnath for you. Do you care if above? So the question is 2 questions. The first of which is, as you receive this letter, is this something you pass around to? Well, you got to read the contents to know. So this is an above table. We'll start above the table. Do you want me to read this aloud? Do you want to know who it's from before you make that decision? Do you want it privately?
Who might it be from?
It is from Ingrid Volin of the Shielded Hearts, which is a famous Karnathi marriage broker.
I keep that. I because like I look at the name like just family letter. That's what I told the others. Family letter.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, above table, do you mind if I read it? If you want to privately, it's perfectly fine. But do you mind if I read it out loud so the players may hear?
Make everyone else giggle. Go ahead. When I get a moment alone, I actually open up and read it.
Fair enough. Yes. Ludwig keeps it private, but Derek is kind enough to share. To the
Go ahead and
esteemed
laugh.
To the esteemed Lord Ludwig Drago de Leora, warmest greetings and congratulations on your house's bold new beginnings. I am Ingrid Volin of the Shielded Hearts, a premier matrimonial agency proudly endorsed by House Denith and specializes in alliances of Carnathi nobility. At the discretion of Warlord Henrik Eardrager, I am honored to begin this journey of finding you a bride worthy of House Leora's future. Our goal is not merely marriage, but the foundation of a lineage blessed with many heirs who can carry your extraordinary mark. A challenge we are particularly excited to meet, given the rumored versatility of your dragon. I understand you favor a prominent Karnaki bride. Rest assured, my finest contacts in Korth and beyond are already at your service. I have consulted closely with Warlord Drager regarding your preferences and the importance of strength, loyalty, and bloodline. I recommend we meet at your earliest convenience in Korth or whether in Korth or another location to begin the presentation and courting process. Discretion and tradition shall be observed in all matters. I await your response with great anticipation. In faithful service, Ingrid Volin, Shielded Hearts, Korth Office, licensed marriage broker, sponsor by House Denise.
He reads this alone and he thinks, licensed marriage broker.
Does he blush?
Only when he's alone. Like, he puts it away and somewhere safe. Somewhere deep and safe, so like no one else is gonna look anything to look.
Okay, sending it your way on Messenger.
Thank you.
Please begin first. Okay, there, it's on the way to you, Derek.
Thank you.
No problem. So that is Ludwig's. One will come for Lois. That will be revealed next week since she is not present. And that's going to be that. I think some letters from home are due, so they will begin to appear in the sessions to come. Fantastic. That is the epistolary phase, at least as far as what I have to say. Now that you're back in Fairhaven, do any of you have interest in using? Okay, quick. Love it. Okay, so you wish to send a letter. What would you like to send?
So I have three. They're all within Fairhaven. I didn't write out anything specific because they all say basically the same thing. One is to the High Seneschal of Thrashik or to Shayna de Torn if Shayna de Torn is in town, because I don't remember if she was local or not.
Okay.
If she's local, I'll use the NPC we already know. If she's not local, then we'll just send it to the High Seneschal.
Okay. Just give me half a second here while I prepare myself. Oh my God, that's a lot of. Okay. Sorry, I'm on a keyboard I'm a little unused to today. 1, 2. Oh shit, I haven't been sharing sound all this time. I mean, if you
I
have,
can hear it.
yeah, it's on Roll20, so I'll leave that to Roll20. Okay, almost done here, getting some ready. Okay, sweet. So your first letter is to Thrash, you said?
Hmm.
Understood.
It, Thrashk, Jurasco, uh, Cannith, well, Jorlana. Whomever is like, I know Jorlana will be in town, but I don't know. I met Ulara de Jurasco. I don't know if she is the local contact for House Jurasco or if she was the Baroness. So if she's the local contact, it would have gone to her. Otherwise, the High Seneschal. And I suppose I could throw one to Baron Fiarlan. They're all essentially generally friendly, requesting an audience at their leisure.
Okay. So letter to Thrash, letter to Jorosco. I'll mark you down. We'll say a silver each for around the city,
Yeah.
since it's short and a secure courier. So that's a letter to Jorosco, to Thrash, and you're just seeking an audience. No worries about sending them specifically to the person specifically.
Okay.
You could say like, I would like to meet with the High Seneschal, kind, niceties,
Yeah.
with no urgency, but at your earliest convenience, so and so. Letter to, oh, you don't need to send a letter to Fjarlin. They're your sponsor.
Yeah.
They're there. Um, so you want to meet with the High Seneschals. High Seneschal. Okay. Or we'll see. Yeah. With a, uh, do you put any contents as to what it's regarding?
Um, hmm. For Thrashk, it will be regarding a potential contract. For Jurasco, it will be regarding a potential research project. For Cannith, it will be about potential prospecting.
Okay, so a contract for Thrash, research for Jurosco. What was the Kenneth one?
Prospecting.
Prospecting. Okay. Okay, interesting. Okay, letter sent. I will say uh you receive uh yeah, so you send these letters, perhaps you'll say I will be at the Demise for the day. Uh, please send a missive if you cannot meet today, so and so. So. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Easy peasy. Yeah, you send those along and we'll see if they bear result in the session. No problem. Yep, silver each. Is there any letters for my other Leora viceroys? That's okay.
The there's one letter I'm obviously gonna have to send sooner rather than later, perhaps, but
Okay,
not at the current moment. There's something I'm gonna have to do.
fair enough. Okay, with that, let's get to our wonderful session. So let us say you guys trained in, I believe, we'll just start a fresh day. We love a fresh day. And you guys certainly make good enough use of your time that we can afford to like throw some days out, you know what I mean? You guys have been traveling long, you take some leisure that day. Welcome to your 31st day in being together. That isn't. Yeah. It's your 31st day of being together. Califar calendar doesn't go to 30s. Okay, so it is the third of Olaroon, which is the last month of winter. The cold will begin to recede, and you all awaken in the wonderful dements of memory. I'm trying to say it right. I never say it right. And you awaken with leisure and care for your station. What do you want to do with yourselves today?
Uh,
Um,
how How much longer until Kara Ivaf's body is questionable?
Oh, yes, that will happen on the 5th, which means in 2 days.
Cool. You go.
How much? 3 days?
2 days.
2 days.
So today, sorry, so today, not tomorrow, but the next day after that. So yes, 2 days.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go up and talk to Rowan a little bit.
All right. Perhaps there is a lovely place for breakfast here in the Dements for people of yourselves, and you may all meet for breakfast.
Uh, like bef Yeah, I try to get there early before the other two do to find Rowan.
I was
Well,
going to say that,
fittingly, oh,
Uh,
I was just going to say, fittingly, Lois is off doing stuff because she said she wasn't sleeping in the Dements anymore.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, Rowan would have wanted to see to this to the family, get them cleaned up in comfortable clothes that are less conspicuous because they were uh their clothing and their state of being drew attention.
Indeed.
So I will have it presented as a lovely spa day for Mama, and maybe for Papa and son too. And when they get back, they will have it doesn't have to be the most expensive clothes in the world, but something that would not look out of place walking to and fro in Fairhaven.
So I'll tell you what, as a convenience matter, you inform House Fjarlin we found a new heir. They say that they are willing to extend the same allowance to the boy, which, because he is an heir, which his parents will be the obviously will manage that money. Um, and that first payment of allowance will be fine clothes and baths. So of their, because they get, well, how much do you guys get a day? You get like 25 a day?
We get 50 a day.
You get 50 a day. I don't know what I was thinking.
It's like that's a
So
lot for the parents. They got
Rowan is actually going to suggest putting the money into a trust with an allowance to take care of the parents and the maybe
yeah,
teach making sure the family has skills and financial literacy, and it's a big change. She wants to
uh,
make sure that they are suited to the change.
who do you make that suggestion to Fjarlin?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, okay. So we will say that that first allowance, that 50 gold, goes towards each of them being given fine clothing, as that comes out to about 45 gold. They'll throw a little extra in. They don't need to throw anything in. They bathe them, they buy them all fancy clothes.
Perfect.
You make the suggestion about a trust. You're a viceroy of the house, and there is no seating barons, so they will do what you say. They will say, should we say 25, half to the trust, half to the parents?
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. Thank you.
We will set it up immediately with House Kandar. Uh, and so they do. They will set up a trust so that the family has more money than they know what to do with, thrown into their laps, and the boy will be richer than them one day. Actually, is currently richer than them, as they have to split the 25 and use it to clothe the kid. And the kid's got a really nice trust fund built up behind the scenes. So, as a matter of management, that will be taken care of.
We just unhoused these people. Like there is a responsibility that is not insignificant.
we just dragged them across the continent to a completely different nation.
Yep, to a much nicer nation in a much nicer city than the village they were living in, with
Like
much sexier, prettier, entertaining people who speak really nice. than the peasants they're surrounded by. This is like Annie right now. They're Annie.
We want to let them have that experience before we overwhelm them with the rest of everything. Let the boy play and have some fun for a day or two.
Oh my gosh, you hear all the time.
He's such a
For
cute boy.
the 50 GP allowance, just writing this down so I remember. Half in a trust, half to the parents. Okay. Yeah, we'll say you go set that up yesterday with Kundarak.
Perfecto.
And I officially got all of my info wrote out about Kundarak, so I know how to properly deal with these. Let's see. Narc banking. Okay, let's see here. Um, so just so you know, because you guys are opening bank accounts, let's see. Since you're opening, I assume standard vaults. Oh, okay. Oh my God. I really went a little all out with this. So let's see. Letters of credit, large loan, security, arcane, as a. Okay. Question is for you folks. Now that I've got my Kandaric stuff all figured out, you guys would be considered personal individuals. This goes for each of you who's opened an account so far, which is actually just gonna be pointed at you, Cross. And then whoever wants to handle, well, that's Lois's stuff. So I'll handle Lois. So Cross, would you like to have helped you as a personal individual? Would you like to have opened a standard vault rental or a high security vault rental? The high security vault rental is like it's pricey. It's 100 GP a month minimum, depending on your services, and it's meant to house like uh big stuff. um
Probably
there's
go with the standard just because I'm not intending
yeah,
to like store anything, I guess, big other than money.
fair enough. It includes magical locks and minor alarming wards within the bank itself, so it is secured. This isn't to say that you're going to get robbed because you didn't purchase. It doesn't work like that, but it's 5 gold a month. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll say mark off. Let's call it 5 gold. Just mark off 5 gold now as you enter a new month.
Sure.
Splendid. All right, you are the proud owner of a standard personal vault, and I'll deal with the other stuff. As a question here, as we're dealing with banking, apparently, which is I know great high fantasy stuff. Rowan and Ludwig, do you two have any interest in opening accounts? You're opening a trust for the kid. I assume you want to store that trust in its own vault. That would just take 5 gold out of
Yeah,
his trust
that
every
would.
month. So I assume the standard vault.
Yeah,
will-
yeah.
Okay, I'll put that in there. Vedim's trust. Standard person. Six. 25 GP day minus 5 GP at the end of Okay. In fairness, 100 GP is just like 4 days of your whole month, and it's
2 days.
got glyphs of warding, dimensional anchoring. So it's basically an extra dimensional vault, which is highly secure.
Oh,
That shit's
so
not getting
it's not
robbed
just like an
ever.
arcane lock thing. It's like there's like a
Oh no,
dimension. Wow.
it's no one's
Okay,
getting it.
okay.
It's the best of the
And
best.
that's where all letters and info is, right?
You guys haven't set up a bank. You guys just have the You have a safety deposit box that has all of that stuff.
Okay.
It's supposed to be for House Leora. Lois
Yeah.
set it up, but I would extend it to all of you if you guys wanted to choose what that is. They do have all kinds of services, but as for this, there are personal bank accounts, 5 gold opening fee, 2 gold, 2 silver a piece month. You guys want better than that. There's document storage, which is secure storage for legal documents, wills, blackmail, material contracts, etc. That's 2 gold a month and provides magical verification of authenticity on top of everything. So it ensures your document. They provide you with your fee to ensure that your documents are legit with divination magics. But if it's just about security and you want to make sure no one's getting the fuck in there, they do have services for that. Security consultation, arcane identification, asset authentication. We'll deal with the specialty services later because you guys aren't VIPs. So yeah, you want the high security vault rental for your personal safe? Okay, cool. That's 100 gold a month. That price goes up depending on what you're storing in there, but for documents, 100 gold a month minimum. And that is reserved for people such as you, powerful nobles, and so on and so forth. Heavy magical protections, glyph of warding, dimensional anchoring, alarm spells, and it can be accessed from any Kundark bank, not just locally.
That
Yeah.
As a group, I think, given I assume we're all talking about this together, like the
Sure, go ahead.
information we have, given the power and leverage that we have from that, it might be worth the price.
Like we're already paying how much?
I hadn't figured out any prices yet, so currently you're paying nothing.
All right.
So now we're establishing pricing.
So we're talking about the 2 gold for the documents. Did I hear that right?
There's 2 gold month for document storage, which is secure storage and includes magical verification. But if you want to go for pure security, that's 100 gold a month, and that shit's never being touched. It's glyph of warding, dimensional anchoring, alarm spells, heavy magical protections. It'll like no one's getting in that bitch. That's the
That's
best of
level
the best.
That's level 20 adventurous stuff.
That's where the royal jewels are stole. That's like that level of protection. Like that's like what the queen uses.
Given the sensitive nature of it, I think that might be worth the price.
And that's not just for documents. That's for items, coin, to a certain weight value. But it's like if you want to open like a house vault, recommend it.
I think we should take it.
It would be 25 gold a month for each of us. I think we can do that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I can easily do that. That is absolutely worth it. We'll just store all stuff in there.
Got it. So high security, and as a reminder, it can contents can be accessed from any Kundark vault, any Kundark bank. Some can only be accessed locally. This can be accessed anywhere you can find a Kundark bank. Whereas Cross, yours is based out of Ondair. You can pay an additional fee to access it remotely through basically planar teleportation and planar travel. It's a little pricey. There's like an emergency teleportation withdrawal fee, which is a 500 gold piece surcharge.
Good Lord.
It's a lot because it's like it's an emergency. It's emergency access. You're muted, by the way, Cross.
Damn, those bank travel fees are insane.
Yeah.
Well, that's instant. That's like, I need money now. And they're like, okay, here you go.
How dare you make a withdrawal abroad, you monster.
Yeah, you fucker. On top of it, though, if you don't want to do that, you can always, and you need money desperately, you can always get a loan from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Pay it back when you get back to Undair and access to your bank account. I'd recommend. I feel like a banker right now. This is crazy. So whoever this dwarf is like, I'd recommend just sticking with what you've got. It doesn't look like you have. I mean, you have a pretty decent value in your personal vault, and you can access it whenever you come to Fairhaven.
Just out of pure curiosity, if at any time I don't know, have to move away and needed the contents of my account not withdrawn but outright moved elsewhere, what would be the cost of that?
Far less expensive. For well, you can use Kandaric services to transport it. We usually source through Orion for such things, in which you would just well, let's see here. Let's see, Legacy Vault creation and management. Passing assets automatically to heirs. Okay, let me look at the pricing there. So just pure transfer fee to another country or nation.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Hmm. Uh, that would go for, let's see, Noble House Security Family Treasury. Transferring wealth across the 5 nations. Let's see. That would probably be a one-time fee of 200 gold, I'd say, depending on what's in your vault. It could be 200 to 300 gold pieces. If it's pure currency, it depends on weight, really, at the end of the day.
Understood.
Yeah, if you wanted to transfer all of your coin to another bank. Take some time too, not too long.
Very well, thank you. There may come a time where I need to move, but for now,
Excellent.
stay here.
And as a note, we guarantee the transfer. So should something happen as a security measure on the way to your raw currency, that's guaranteed by Kandaric. So if you pay the fee, your money's going to be in that vault no matter what. Whether there's no matter what happens with the courier service. All right, so I've got a personal vault based out of Fairhaven for Viceroy Cross, and I have a high security vault for House Leora. Do you, Lord Ludwig, or Viceroy, pardon me, Viceroy Ludwig or Viceroy Rowan, do either of you wish to establish anything to do with the bank? I, of course, also have Venom's Trust established in Fairhaven as a standard personal vault.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Rowan would just want like a regular degular place to put my money, so it's not sitting on the floor.
Fair enough. I will establish for you then also a standard personal vault based out of Fairhaven. Would you like to make any deposits on? Oh, that'll cost 5 gold to open.
That is fine.
Just gonna double check that price to make sure. Yep, 5 gold to establish. Is there anything you'd like to deposit with the opening of your account?
She will put in 70 gold to begin with.
By all means. All right, excellent. And as for you, Viceroy Ludwig, is there anything that you would like? Would you like to open an account today?
Yeah, same as Lady Rowan.
Fair enough. Personal vault based on Fairhaven, 5 gold pieces to open your vault. 5 gold piece fee a month. Is there anything you'd like to deposit today?
5 gold to open the vault. He drops in 66 gold pieces.
6 gold pieces, all right.
66.
Oh, 66. My apologies.
And I can easily write a credit, a line of, not a line of credit, like a paper saying here's the amount of money, basically a check. If I wanted to buy
you can write a House Civis, or well, we work on them together, but you can write a bill of credit.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah, you can write a bill of credit to anybody. It'll be authenticated by House Civis, and that amount can be withdrawn at any time, so long as there is indeed money in your account. But yes, you can do bills of credit.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Excellent. All All right. If you ever need to write a bill of credit, simply, well, actually, we could probably have, if you all want some pre-authorized bills of credits, we can have those made for you today.
You mean papers that we keep on hand about bills of credit? We can just
You keep them on hand, and rather than handing out hard currency, you can hand out bills of credit,
yes, we'll take
and
that.
the recipient can just will have it withdrawn directly from your account when they find a Kandaric bank.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, excellent. All right, and he will go to work on that. Let's see here. It takes a little bit of time for that to be done, as he needs to. Oh, they would have them pre-made. So he'll sit in front of you, have them all wrote out, and I will say that he will hand each of you, let's call it 5 gold for uh, each bill of credit, as it does take expertise to have them authenticated and created. So 5 gold pieces for each bill of credit that you guys want to have on hand. That should be linked directly to your Fairhaven accounts.
Okay, I'll buy 3.
Okay, 5 gold each, so 15 gold. Does anyone else want any pre-authorized bills of credit?
Not right now. Maybe before I leave town again, but so long as
Fair
they're in
enough.
Fairhaven.
Not right now.
Fair enough. Okay. And he will hand them to you, Ludwig, and say, aye, please be aware that these bills of credit can only be, or the funds can only be released to somebody who brings them to the Fairhaven bank. So if you're going to issue someone this bill of credit, be sure to do so out of Fairhaven. So,
Fair.
all right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And with that, you guys all have personal accounts.
Huzzah!
Now that we're done being at the bank, get out of there, dog. Sweet. So that the Sattler family is enjoying a little bit of leisure and a little bit of coin to their name. Um, yeah. So what do you guys want to do with your days now? Cross is waiting on resurrecting a corpse for quick conversation. Um, There is, I think I recall last session there was interest in discussing your headquarter potential location with the Baroness, believing that she might be an interested ally.
Well, Rowan wanted to see
An orifice?
Baron Fjorlund was on Rowan's list of folks to see. So
Excellent. I don't know if we glossed over it, but Ludwig, did you want to talk to Rowan?
Um, I was going to talk with her about the Baroness thing. Um, I'll just somehow uh, I'll ask her and just tell the Baron that I'd like to also meet her privately after your meeting.
okay,
Uh,
like are we meeting the Baron, all 3 of us right now, or is it just going to be Rowan? I'm not
Well,
question mark.
it
I don't
was your
know.
it was your meeting you wanted to take, Rowan, so you're more than
Yeah,
welcome to
no,
invite everybody
no. I
else.
I I will go see the Baron and
Okay. You wanted to do that privately?
yeah, please.
Okay, no problem. If that's the case, you don't expect that she'll be here forever. She has a lot of business to do in her headquarters, but she is here for now to attend to House Leora. The Baron, Elvinor Alarenti de Viarlin, remains, as always, an elegant fixture here in the Dements, and is more than happy to take your meeting. She says, "Good morning, Viceroy Rowan Kenneth de Leora, or is it Baron now?"
I think we probably need to have a talk with the others, but yeah, I think Baron's going to stick. It's lovely to see you.
Well, I wish you my congratulations.
Thank you. I had a couple of things come up, and I was very much looking for your input if you've a moment.
Of course.
So I was traveling and I came upon a village. We did some stuff, and there is a new baby heir.
So I was informed. Most interesting.
It is unusual. And I say, I don't want to say it's never happened. Mine is the newest house. In your experience, in your history, have you ever heard of someone without any particular trauma or test just waking up one day with a mark? Now, Lois is a diviner, and I don't know how prophecy works, and I don't know if that means she was somehow connected, but the boy was in Karnath.
I must admit, I have been around for a while, and I saw the birth of uh, definitely Thrashk, and it came to us with rather surprise out of uh, eastern, more uncivilized portions of Corvair. Surprised us, really. We weren't there for its creation. And I wasn't there for the creation of my house. I'm not that old. Um, with that said, there are many stories of uh, all manner of ways dragon marks have and have not manifested. But the truth of the matter goes beyond, I'm sure, gossip and rumor. The tried and tested way, by and large, as the Baroness, I can speak to my own house, is through the test of Sybaris. It, as I'm sure you well know from your own house experience, manifests through adolescence. Different people have different tests. They're not always well known. Some houses are more peacefully created. I assure you, House Galanda's members do not go through traumatic portions of food or something of the like. I'm told that theirs is a little more peaceful than others. The nature of the house determines the nature of the test of Sybaris. A more demanding mark demands a more, well, shall we say, violent test. The House of Illusions, the House of Shadow, my own house, doesn't necessarily require a traumatic test of Sybaris. I could understand why some houses, especially Dennis, maybe even Jarosco, require something a little bit more intense. But there are houses that don't necessarily require such intensity. It is a test nonetheless, though.
It doesn't seem like the boy experienced any kind of test. Like, if I'm understanding, he woke up with it one morning. There's a lot we don't know. It just seems like something we should keep in mind. How would you, would it, I don't want to put a bounty out. Like, that sounds wrong, but the house, like the mark of finding is good at finding things, right? I don't want to, how do I say this? How do I go to, say, the High Seneschal and say, listen, as your people are out in the world and maybe find this mark, can I incentivize you introducing them to us? Like, how do I go forward with that? Because that's what they do. And this,
Incentivize you. You mean to hire House Thrashk to find Dragon Mark members of House Leora, if they're out there.
I found the boy in the poorest of villages. I don't even know that they're literate. They're not reading the Cronenberg Chronicle.
It is a wise decision, I think, to invest in the services of such a house, to find your own heirs, as I've widely suggested. It is important that House Leora begins to gain assets, whether that be through Dragon Marked members themselves, expanding your numbers, or bringing in numbers one way or another. So I don't think that's a poor decision. Hiring House Thrash. It is a large continent, however, might require extra capital, which is why I might recommend to you spend some time considering the creation of a guild of your house. Begin to start making money, as that is the key to any Dragonmark house's success.
So I was talking to Lois about this, and we wanted to get everyone's opinion on this. But since we're here, there are two things that we could very easily do that are in line with our capabilities right now. One, if we were to call it maybe the Facilitators Guild, working on mediation, negotiation, creating contracts. The other, an Advocates Guild, people who specifically focus on matters of law.
I see. Well, it is up to you which guilds you wish to make, which is the best business decisions, as it is indeed business-oriented, these guilds that you'll be opening, yeah? I know that House Civis, which is going to be your most intense, shall we say, rivalry, considering that they have the House of Speaking already. They are well known to be in the diplomatic world, and I am sure are preparing themselves for your competition. Indeed, it is good to prioritize. Some houses only have one or two guilds, other houses have 4 or 5.
But this seems like something we could start there, and it gives people a reason to engage us. So if
Indeed.
that, unless there's something that seems objectionable to that, like we were always going to have to share a space with Civis. That was just
Of
the nature of what
course.
we do.
Just as House Deneath has to share space with House Thrash. And so on to House Madani.
You have mentioned a space for us, and
Indeed.
we've talked about it and had an idea. I think we can all agree that there's probably never going to be a single king or queen of Galifar. We've got 12 nations, and there are going to be 12 nations. And what better way to agree that there's going to be 12 nations than to put someone else doing something that has nothing to do with the 12 nations in Castle Galifar? Now, the castle itself is in disrepair. Perhaps there would be a way to convince people that if House Leora were to pay for the refurbishing, we could take up our space in the administrative wing and restore the rest as the historical monument it should be.
She, true to whether it be her elven way or simply analyzing herself, goes quiet for a time and thinks, and eventually says, well, it's very clever, Rowan. Technically, it's very clever. Technically speaking, the Treaty of Thronehold forbids war to be continued. It was the last war to the public eye. In the face of politics, there would be no reason why any of the nations should be able to publicly point at you and say, no, we want it for ourselves. I will warn, however, behind closed doors and in reality, you're going to piss off some people.
Anyone in particular?
Anyone who wants the castle for themselves, I imagine.
Well, this should be a good way to flesh them out then.
It is not necessarily a bad thing indeed to know your enemy. It is a high ambition, admittedly, but as far as the Dragonmark houses go, I mean, it is technically a historical building at this point, here in these peace times between war, especially while nobody dares to elicit war after the morning.
That's where our thinking is.
Very impressive. Very impressive and incredibly ambitious plan. You're going to need people who will support you in this, you know.
Which is why I'm hoping to make nice with Thrashk and Kenneth and Jarosco after this.
Hmm. Well, I wish you the best of luck. A very wise move to begin to build alliances. Oh, the Five Nations will not be terribly. Oh, I'm very excited to see how this goes, admittedly.
Or,
It
or
is going to be the talk of the season.
they all made an agreement. Let's see if they're going to put their money where their mouth is.
Well, Rowan, as I'm sure you know, there is what is said aloud and there is what is said behind closed doors.
Yes, and I'm finding that there are more people who are itching for a good old-fashioned fight. I guess 2 years of peace and people are bored somehow.
Well, allow me to, if you don't mind, explain.
Please.
Everyone on the surface, of course, respects the Treaty of Thronehold. It is the time of peace. It is called the last war, justly so, for there shall be no more wars. All is well. The truth of the matter is, the nations desperately seek what created the morning, desperately to seek this power, this weapon, and who used it, created it. Everyone wants to know how the morning happened and who did it. Until such a time comes that that is discovered, everyone will remain in a stalemate, as no one wants to be the next Ciri. But once that person, that power is figured out, especially if one of the nations learns to harness that power for themselves, well, as I'm sure you can well imagine, once the threat of national annihilation disappears, people might be much more willing to begin the next war. Everyone wants to know how the morning happened, and once they do, you better believe war will come again. That's why Ondare is making airships. That is why Karnath is recruiting new soldiers. That is why everyone's getting ready.
Are we close to finding out? Do we have a lead? Does anybody know anything at all?
Nobody knows.
All right, so here's what I'm thinking. This is an incredible opportunity that everybody's wasting because it's like nobody's even looking for the reason, or if they are, they're not making a progress that anyone's talking about it. Meanwhile, if people were
Please continue. My apologies.
there are things that can be done in peacetime that cannot be done in wartime, resources that can be used. We are missing a golden opportunity at a peacetime economy that could be incredibly booming, where we see huge, not just booms in art and in culture, but also in technology. People think about Kenneth as being the builders of the Warforged, but they also built the lightning rail. Commerce is
This is
more than
true.
war.
Commerce is indeed more than war. But there is no denying House Neath, House Cannith, House Galanda, Jarosco, so on and so on and so on, made substantial sums of money during the war. Mercenaries, healing, weapons. War can be very profitable to the sellers, which is us, Dragonmarked, and devastatingly costly to the Five Nations. So, you're quite right. Until such a time as the source of the morning is found, the Five Nations will begin to fill their coffers how best they can, arm themselves, prepare themselves for when the next war emerges and the powder keg explodes, and we dragon-marked houses bide our time. There's much to be gained in peace, you're absolutely right. But there is much to be gained in war as well. And many people wish, behind closed doors, to wear that crown.
It's a pretty hat that comes with a lot of responsibilities and less freedom than people realize.
I wouldn't diminish this, Rowan.
I
It's
don't-
very easy to sit back and go, it's a pretty hat and a lot of responsibilities and so on and so forth. But you must understand that a lot of people take great pride in their nations. And many people do feel that their king, their monarch, is worthy to sit on that throne. Well, both perspectives are true, but it is folly to disrespect the other side, especially for the mark of diplomacy.
It is unreasonable for anyone to ever think there will ever be a single overking of this continent ever again.
Why is that?
I need to see if I've got a spell selected for today. Do I have it? I do not. Poop. Consider Corvair, the size of it. Simply administrating everything from the Lazar principalities out to the other side of Droam. And think of, as our population is larger, as we have all of these elements that invariably are going to clash. Keeping 12 nations allows 12 individual areas to keep the war to themselves. But as soon as they start pushing over those borders, there will never be a winner because there will always be someone else. And so long as it's throughout the entirety of Corvair, it can never be contained. And at the end of the day, if everybody is going for the exact same thing, we end up with mutual extinction. We end up with Siri. It always ends up there.
I would consider a couple of things. The first of which is the kingdom of Galifar existed for almost 900 years. They had their issues and their problems. They had to fight back issue, civil wars, so on and so forth. But the kingdom of Corvair, of Galifar, held true for almost 900 years. And consider also that war is the nature of all things. There is times of peace, and then there's times of war. If you believe, Rowan, that there will come a time where a perfect system of government will come and
Never.
conflict will be over forever.
Never.
Exactly. What holds this piece together is the threat of annihilation. And when someone finds out, and I assure you, Rowan, everyone is looking. You just don't see it because nobody wants to be seen looking, because that would look very bad. But I assure you, everyone's looking for who did it and how they did it. And when they do, consider what would happen, say, if Karnath gained the power of the morning. Do you think anyone would oppose them?
Sometimes a single person can get in where an army can't. Would armies oppose them? No, but eventually people will die. Whether it's an assassin who does it or another army who just decides if we're going to die anyway. I can think of very diplomatic reasons why having 12 different kingdoms is a much better solution for continued existence.
Indeed, but only if those 12 nations all agree. And I assure you, 12 monarchs will never agree about everything. If not enough.
No.
Take Ondair, for example, our wonderful Ondair. Are they not currently buckled under the Treaty of Thronehold to respect the fact that their former capital now lies in Thrain's hands? Do you think every Ondarian doesn't itch for the day when they will retake Thelios? Their capital, their pride, their cultural center? That alone ensures that Ondair will never be at peace with Thrain, if they can help it. People care too much about things.
So it would seem.
And look around. We're at peace. And we're at peace because everyone is terrified of annihilation. If Karnath, say, possessed annihilation powers, possessed the power of the morning themselves, then simply becomes everyone knows who to fear and who to bend the knee to. And indeed, I agree with you. One day, some group of adventurers, a assassin knight, a researcher, will figure out how to create it either for themselves or will steal it for themselves. And then everybody will be held at Amethyst by the fear of annihilation, by those two nations. And it will grow, and it will grow, and so on and so on. So I ask you, is the subjugation, not subjugation, but the complacency of all of these nations under the threat of annihilation better than the respect of a single ruler, much as, say, the last monarch of Corvair, King Jared, was? Who can say?
Who can say?
For now, we have what we have. Peace due to the fear of national annihilation. And it will hold, at least for a while. In the meantime, Viceroy, apparently maybe Baroness, you have a guild to establish, a guild of diplomacy. And I highly suggest that you begin the process sooner rather than later, as that is how you will earn money.
We can
And
actually
by
do
earning,
we can
Oh,
do
go
that
ahead.
whenever where do I register such a thing? Like I'm
Well,
sure that
first
there's our forms.
Indeed. Well, fear not. I have already spoken to my ministers, and some ministers, some masters of guilds, and they have made things plain. What need be done is, first and foremost, proof of the mark, which has been done before the Court of Enver already. That step has already been complete. The second is an application to the 12 in Korth. They are the council of the existing Dragonmarked houses who will consider official recognition. I don't expect that will be difficult. There will be hopes of presentation of genealogical records and so on and so forth. We can get into the nitty-gritty of that. But that is the next step. Step 3, negotiations and settlements upon your new house's domain, if they conflict with other houses' businesses, concessions, and so on and so on. You'll probably end up be talking to House Civs mostly about where their work begins and your work ends. That's where your guild will begin to form, as to where their skill ends and yours begins. You'll have to take the oath of neutrality, which is essentially agreeing to the Korth edicts, a formality. And then comes formal recognition accepted by the 12, granting you formal status to Dragonmarked House. House Civis will update the registry of names, and you will all be granted official use of the prefix of Leora, for example. And then we can get on to the actual creation of the guild. So, I will simply say, find your various house members who are currently sitting viceroys. That's all we really require is them. And they must present genealogical records, and we can handle the manifested evidence of dragon-marked power. It's been witnessed in the court of Aldair, after
Um,
all.
their
Yes,
Ambassador Cross is actually sort of a prickly nature. As a Kenneth, I can tell you that he has a provenance. As a soul, I can tell you that it would probably be really rude for me to ask where he was built. How do we handle that part for him?
I see. And it's a fair bet, as Warforged are not produced as such. I don't expect that a genealogical record would be required at the Viceroy Cross. We all know how Warforged were created, and the presence of their mark has nothing to do with genealogy. So I expect the Viceroy would be exempt. But we'll have to consult with the 12. I'll be sure to send missives out, and I don't imagine it will be an issue.
I am That is the only thing that you've said that actually gives me anxiety. But yeah,
Well, then allow me to make it quite simple. I am more than happy to write for all of you, well, have wrote for you. I will not write it personally, but a proposal outlining what area of commerce or industry that your house will serve. You are more than welcome to make that proposal as well to the 12.
I would very much uh, appreciate your feedback on and everything. Thank you. I
Excellent.
I think my bent towards peace gets me in trouble sometimes. I appreciate the reality check.
Oh, nonsense, dear. We all love peace in the Five Nations. We are at peace at last, aren't we? She winks.
So it would seem.
So it would seem. Until the next super weapon is developed, of course.
Does do we have a school in the night like a college, but like for I got a kid and I don't know if he can read yet. Like, do I need to hire a tutor? Like, I can't have someone with the mark of diplomacy who is like illiterate and doesn't know. It's not like he's a sweet
We are
boy,
more,
but we gotta fix this.
well, he has an allowance, and you may use that allowance to purchase whatever skilled, uh, knowledgeable scholars you wish to educate the boy.
Um, so I guess find a teacher at the college at your college. There's got to be someone
Well,
who's
we teach a lot of speaking, which is, I'm sure, what the boy you would like to have educated. But as for histories and such, those will be other tutors, of course.
we can find that. That'll work. Oh, and if we're going to be housing the boy here, would it be more appropriate to hire instead of one of the defenders to have one of your shadows? Because I don't really want him leaving the dements that much.
Hmm.
What do you think?
We don't. It is a tricky matter. We don't provide protection services. That is the domain of House Denise.
All right.
We are more than happy. We did our best to handpick defenders that suited each individual. Uh, we will contact and hire out a defender from House Denise for the boy, and we'll be ensure that it's no one too grizzled or scarred, shall we say.
I was There was a part in my head that thinks, gee, wouldn't it be great if the kid could just, be a kid and there'd be someone in the background who just kept his eye on him, but that's not the world we live in.
It's uh well, I will try and find a defender that, shall we say, is discreet. You all have your defenders rather attached to the sleeve more like advisors. I'll ensure that this one is purely there for protection.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
It seems that fate has picked the boy to be more important than just a boy. So, unfortunately for him, the time of frolicking out in the Carnathy, well, to be frank, and I don't know if this is just the arrogance of a baroness who has lived maybe a little too long in high places, but as demanding as the life will be, the life of a dragon-marked heir of House Leora sponsored by House Fjarlin is perhaps better than the life of a free-roaming, what was it, Vergenslei peasant at the edge of the Mournlands?
Yeah,
I
so
believe the life expectancy out there is somewhere around 30.
no, he's already doing better. Just gonna try not to scare him with, House Tarkanan wanting to assassinate us quite yet. He won't be going
I
on diplomatic
I
treks with us
assure
anytime
you,
soon.
I assure you, we are more than happy to connect you for the boy tutors that can properly educate him to be an heir befitting his title. I will leave the, shall we say, political context and house stuff to you. We will merely provide tutors and bodyguards that will not get too much in the way.
And we can use his allowance to make sure that that's taken care of. Baroness, thank you so much for your time, as always.
Of course, anytime. My homework for you is only to find genealogical records for your, shall we say, fleshy viceroys. Once you do, I will be able to send those off to the 12,
As
and
soon
I will
as
begin the. Oh, yep, go ahead.
I was born in Syri, I think. I was
Yes.
adopted, but Killian would have been able to vouch for me.
Yes, your genealogical records, I imagine, will be more difficult to procure, but nonetheless important, if at all possible.
I am hoping to meet with Jordanalina a little bit later. She might be able to. She's met me before. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. Oh God.
Well, if the
Fucking
paper
morning.
records, if indeed, if the records have been lost to the morning, which is probably the case, maybe I might recommend taking your time in House Jarosco. I'm told that they have some ability to compile biological information. It's a possibility, but not a guarantee.
We will do whatever we need to. Thank you for letting me know about this now. That is something that should be
Excellent.
handled ahead of time. Thank you so
Well,
much.
you work on the geological record or the genealogical records. I will begin outlining a proposal. I think I have some understanding of what your place in industry will be like. You can make any adjustments once the first draft is complete.
Thank you so much.
Indeed. Shall let you go. Let's circle over to Ludwig and Cross. Thank you for your patience. What do you guys have wanting to do today?
My thing immediately would be quite simple. After Rowan's meeting with the Baroness is finished, I would also request one.
Fair enough. Yep, as Rowan has dropped off, she'll be like, yes, Ludwig.
But I'm gonna let Cross go first.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Cross.
Get his.
I wanted to see if I had any news from Shell about a certain couple of the killings I wanted.
Very interesting. If you talk to Shell, he will assure you that the right people have been informed. That is not to say that it's been carried out yet, but the right people have been informed.
I will take that.
Out of curiosity, when did you, if you remember, when did you tell Shell to put these plans in motion?
I think it was the session before last. I think.
Was that
So,
in Karna?
it was here in Fairhaven, but before everyone else had got back.
Got it. Got it. Uh, Understood. Yep, I've got it. Okay, cool. Beautiful.
That's really all I
Uh,
had. So you can have your meeting with the Baroness.
um, so, uh, oh, what's her name? Sorry, one moment. Just getting these names out of the way. All right. Yeah, he says that that has been organized. It's going to take some time for word to get back and then things to happen, so to speak.
Cool.
Okay. As she turns about the garden, drops off Rowan, sees you, Ludwig, and goes, Ah, Ludwig, yes, please come. I have some work to do. I'm more than happy to take your meeting, but I must multitask.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for taking up your time, Lady Baroness
No
Alvinoa.
apologies required. This is why I am here.
I assume you've talked to with Rowan about recent developments.
Yes, we were speaking about getting your house made legally official with the 12. She is beginning to work on finding the genealogical records for your viceroys, where at all possible.
I'm. That's good. That's good. I can have my geological records easily obtained.
Indeed, it seems like yours will perhaps be the easiest, considering there are only 4 viceroys amongst you now.
Uh, For viceroys for now.
4 viceroys, one was, well, created, and the other 3, well, 2 of them are dragon marked, and, well, we will see how it goes. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
I'm drafting a proposal for the 12 for your application to be officially recognized.
exactly. It's good. It's good to know. I trust Ron completely. She she is she may or may not balk at this, but she is my choice for Baroness.
Humility. Useful.
True. True. And she has agreed that I should be the head of security for our house.
Ah, head of security, is it?
Yes.
You're
Not
going to be good
simply.
friends with House Beneath, I say. Perhaps.
But I feel like though they and I would get on swimmingly.
Well, I have paid Rowan some behind the scenes advice, some reality of the world advice, shall we say, and I would provide that to you as well if you were to be this head of security. Are you interested?
I've I have taken on the mantle of that since before the auction.
Ah, good to hear. Well,
Hmm.
I would say to you, quite simply, the court edicts forbid militarization of any kind from dragon-marked houses, save House Denise, given the nature of their abilities. That is, of course, what happens on the surface. What happens behind the scenes? Well, as you've seen, different houses, sometimes, not all of them, but sometimes, have their own private protection services, shall we say. I don't want to go outing anybody, but let's just say, well, Fjarlin has its own individuals who are capable of combat, and you better believe that the Banking Guild has private protections as well, not only in the form of magic. It wouldn't be outside the bounds of things that, as long as it's kept very quiet, perhaps House Leora indeed might find itself with its own private, capable individuals. Though House Beneath, of course, should always be primarily relied upon.
Exactly. House Beneath, they are remarkable, but they can't be expected to do everything.
Of
As far
course. Well,
the
given their size of their house, perhaps they can, and maybe even a little more than that.
exactly. Anyway, dragon marks may not be the majority of the world, but anyone with two good hands can pick up a sword now, can't they?
But not with so much skill as House Beneath. That much is clear.
That's why they're so valuable. They earn their keep.
They are
I'm
a
not.
sleeping giant.
And when will it awaken?
Let us hope it does not.
If it ever does awaken, let's hope it's a giant friendly to both of us.
I think a corvair ruled by a dragon-marked house would be friendly to its allies.
And this is completely theoretical.
This is completely theoretical. And in the idea of theory, Lord Ludwig, may I just say, Rowan, on top of all of her other achievements, has made such a brilliant strategy of making friends with House Beneath early, just in case.
Absolutely. I'm a bit of a fan of history, actually. I'm quite a big fan of the Goblin Empire. I could recite all their emperors by name, actually.
I see.
The dragons had their time, the giants had theirs, the goblins, Galifar. Who knows what comes next?
I'm surprised that you and Rowan haven't been better, shall we say, friends over this interest. I'm told that, well, Rowan has spent a great deal of time in modern-day Dargoon, and where is better to find relics of the ancient Decani Empire?
The Dakani, I would love nothing more to meet Lord Lesh, the man who fought off three nations in the last war and fought and carved out his own.
Well,
But
you know at least one person who has a personal relationship with him.
yes, but I get the sense she has been hesitant to speak on Dargoon. It is a difficult place.
Hmm. The one thing that I find, Ludwig, as I try to possibly inform uh, a viceroy of the House of Diplomacy on the skill of conversation, but if I may suggest, I find that people who have gone through difficulties in their lives find themselves feeling quite alone, very much for the very reason that people do not wish to be rude and bring up harsh memories. Sometimes people do like a place to speak of such things. Of course, as long as that place is respectful and safe and so on, tastefully put. But
How would you recommend someone bring up a topic like that and earn someone's trust in that way?
trust is hard earned and not easily given, and often lost quite easily as well. It takes time. In the case of Rowan, I'd approach most softly.
Yes.
She was willing enough to put her story out on the newspaper. It may be well to not play and beat around the bush at it. Don't bring up the Dakani Empire and sort of teeter on the edge of Dargoon. I expect that if I have any guess at her, I expect that she respects directness. I would let her know that if she ever wanted to speak of it, you would be most interested, and then maybe perhaps put forth your interest in the Dakani Empire and Dargoon personally. Simply just let her know that you're willing to hear, but do not push the subject. That would be my best suggestion.
Interesting. I see. And to be clear about something earlier, that I'm responsible for House Duo's protection. I'm sure, like we've said, Lauren has made great inroads with Deneth and wishes for our Klauses to be close.
A wise decision for any Dragon Mark house.
Yeah. is to be clear, just to be clear about that. There's also the matter of, how do I say this? Internal security.
Hmm.
As I've heard back, I understand that there was this disagreement between Lois and yourself.
Ah, I see. Well, there was some concern regarding an article that she wished to have published. It concerned House Thurani, mentioning, uh, I believe they were called the Creature, and
Yes.
mentioned them in the article as a House Thurani operative. Now, the secrecy of House Fjarlin's and House Thurani's shadow networks are closely guarded. It is not perfectly guarded, but closely guarded. Now, the Kordenberg Chronicle has in the past hinted at the idea that Thurani was more than just an entertainment service, but I and Viceroy Cross strongly suggested that such a revelation made to the public was a dangerous one.
I
And
concur.
I must protect my house, and I must protect my house first and foremost, despite my willingness to found your own house. I had wished, admittedly, it would have stayed between me and Cross, but I understand that he similarly must value his own house and be open. Lois's departure from the Demens has been noted, most certainly.
I've noticed that as well.
It is unfortunate, but House Fjallim does make that portion of its. Simply put, Ludwig, it was a detrimental and dangerous allegation to make. You must understand, it was in the interest of protection that I made my suggestion for both your house and mine.
We never make unpleasant ideas are usually made in the pursuits of the greater good, and I understand your position completely.
Well, I thank you, Ludwig.
I-
And I regret any ill will it may have caused.
No, no, feels like any ill will is forgiven, I assure you.
Well, you must relay to the host of House Leora that if there is anything I can do to make up for such unfriendliness, I am more than willing to make amends.
Thank you for that. On the matter of Lois, I will also be keeping an eye out. She has resigned from the Kornberg Chronicle on the basis of its being a what's the term? Conflict of interest, I believe.
Ah, so
Which
I've been told.
with interest, which is reassuring. I think she makes the correct choice there, but she still has contacts there, of course. I assure you that if anything were to come up, I'll keep my eyes open for anything, but if you have any reason to doubt, something may come out uncomplimentary towards Fjalin in any way. Perhaps Lois may not be the best place to intervene necessarily.
I see. Well, I leave
Um,
that entirely at your discretion. I have no command over your
of
house.
course. I was simply stating ideas of there are other parts in the Chronicle that Fjalin may address concerns to.
Hmm. Well, I appreciate your concern, but fear not
Yes,
for my house. We keep an eye on whispers when they get too
I'm,
loud.
I'm sure you do. And there's one last thing
Indeed.
after this, and I'll stop taking up your time. this matter of Lois has not been the only concern. There's been a longer one simmering.
I see. What is this?
It's about Cross.
Cross. What is it about Cross that concerns you?
You must understand, Baroness, I'm someone who does want to think the best of people, but I'm not blind. There were, you may remember that there was a Deneth defender for, for Cross.
Yes, who tragically passed in defense of Cross's life in Shard.
Yeah. Yes, and I recounted in so many words, right, I recounted that story, the and though I don't remember the name of the inn he was staying at, I recounted the story as I've heard it.
Yeah.
And then when we left, and I would have pressed him on this more, but we had to go for the auction and secure that. There was, and when we got to Korth, Cross brought in someone from the outside, and I
Yeah,
thought,
someone away.
yes, the new Warforged Shell, I believe his name.
Mm.
He Cross explained he was someone from a friend of his from out in the Mournland, I believe. I believe if I'm remembering right. But
I did not mention the Mournland. I
okay,
just
no,
said,
okay. My bad. It's
Yeah.
like it was a friend from before. I
Yeah,
scratched that. It was
you know, as far as I know, I think nobody really knows anything about Shell other than Cross knew Shell at
Yeah,
one
and
point.
Cross
But
knew from
yeah.
somewhere. Like I don't remember where I
I merely
scratched
said
that.
that, like, because Cross had to, when Fernhall came through, Cross had to travel to New Siri. They've said they met Shell as someone who kind of watched their back during that journey. Otherwise, it's dangerous traveling alone for long
Very
distance.
dangerous.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
having a companion helped.
Yes. Thanks, Nathan. But no, I took Cross alone and spoke with him about this, that I'd be open to welcoming in Shellen as his guardian and a part of House Leora, but I requested that perhaps Shell undergo a detect thoughts spell and it's something I've thought about, that we can ensure to all new members of House Leora that there's nothing compromising about them or hidden ill intent somehow.
May I ask you, Ludwig?
Yes.
My house, personally, my house, consists of hundreds of members, heirs or unmarked. Your house may very well end up being the same. I mean,
Sure.
first you have this new boy out of Vergensly, who seems to only have his mother and father, but who's to say an elf of a long, noble line of the Valinor doesn't come out of the woodworks, and you have several dozen individuals attached to that individual, or you, for example, if you brought the Draggers into the Leora line, do
And
you intend to, I
I
understand you're head of security, but do you intend to interrogate every individual who enters your house?
we are and I thank you for those thoughts, Lady for Baroness. And I would ask anyone I brought in if they could undergo the same thing and meet the same standard. But I I've had doubts about this, but when I approached this topic with Cross, he flat out denied it. He just flat out denied it. And after some conversation with the others, I agreed, like, yes, Shell can stay because there was the auction. We didn't have time. We had to get things going. And the thing is, like, with Vadim, he's a dragon. And I know there are people who don't have the marks in the house, and maybe I'm just paranoid ever since Tarkhanen's assault on us.
You are paranoid. But Fear not. That is an important trait to have as somebody who is responsible for security. But you must, Ludwig, balance. You must understand that the Code Galifar requires people to be considered innocent until proven guilty. And much the same, if you intend to be any manner of diplomat, you must conduct the same behavior with the people you are supposed to trust.
Yes.
And especially the people that they trust until you have good reason not to trust them. Now, with that said, I have seen this shell individual who is rather antisocial, but the last war, as you well know, being a veteran of the last war, creates animosity. You yourself, I'm sure, have cut down your fair share of Sirens. You've seen your fair share of friends die at the blades of Rain Templars, and you have experienced devastation under the firepower of the airships of Ondair. Everyone feels the last war fresh in their minds, and everyone has their prejudices, and frankly, is right to have angers and prejudices, as you as a warrior I'm sure well know. Just because this individual is antisocial or spiteful of people doesn't mean necessarily that they're evil. Do you have any reason to believe that this shell character is evil, or do you simply not like them? I won't tell, whichever the answer be, or feel free not to answer, and know simply for yourself.
These are questions I've wrestled with.
You must, as a diplomat, whether be in charge of security or not, you must balance the good faith of the people around you, because requesting these things is a violation of privacy, and people do not like to have their privacy violated. It will not create bonds between you and these people.
If so, would you have any advice for me to make bonds with Shell? Perhaps I may have misjudged him.
You could, as he seems a little antisocial, perhaps you could find some nonverbal way to prove your goodwill to the individual. Maybe a gift, perhaps. But you must also accept that, dragon mark or not, there are going to be people in the world who are just not going to like you. Trust me, after the hundreds of years that I've spent on Corvair, I have come to realize that there are some bridges that just cannot be built. But you can certainly try. There is no harm in trying, as long as it's genuine.
And I guess it's up to me to know if my suspicions were misplaced or not.
You seem to be a very kind-hearted and earnest person for a veteran. Most veterans have a lot of hate in their heart, rightfully so. But I ask you to think about your comrades who have had limbs taken from them and brothers and sisters murdered at the hands of nationalists from other nations. Think of them and their spite and their hate and how deserved it may be. And perhaps Shell may be one of these people. Every Warforged fought in the last war. Perhaps Ludwig, Shell fought against the Karnathi. Highly possible, considering the Syrians were the largest purchaser of Warforged in the last war. It is very possible that Shell fought Karnathi and saw brothers and sisters and comrades die at the hands of the Karnathi. He may not like you because of where you're from.
There may be parts of it. I was concerned if perhaps I may have misjudged him because he's simply a Warforged. I don't consciously think that, but it's impossible to know. And I will say, Baroness, you do sound like an old friend of mine from out east.
I will take that as a compliment.
I mean it as a compliment.
I know you did. Well, I thank you for asking me of these things. And all I would advise is simply be cautious between the scrutiny of investigation and building bonds with individuals. You cannot have one and the other at the same time, not always.
I thank you again, Baroness. But before I leave, just quick question.
Mm-hmm.
You are a full elven woman, correct? As you, clearly.
Yes, I am.
You live hundreds of years, much longer than us humans.
Potentially.
I've never had the chance to ask this, but do you ever get tired of it? Living, I mean.
Ludwig, hills and valleys.
But
Life brings pain, just as it brings joy, of intense amounts on either side. And as it's sad to say, all creatures suffer the wrath of despair. And you are quite right. By the grace of being able to live so very long, we have to deal with it. But by living so long, we learn how to deal with it. Yes, life can be quite tiring. But I would say if you're more interested in Elven culture, perhaps you might find your time spent in Valinor, where, shall we say, the true and most cultured of elves live.
I mean,
I-
we may need to reach out there once we're more established.
Indeed. I would consider myself more of a businesswoman, an entertainer more than I am an elf. But the Valinor are as elven as you're going to get in Kova.
Baroness, I thank you for your time. If there's anything you may need of me, do not be afraid to ask.
And you as well, Viceroy Leora. You as well.
Thank you. And I give her a bow and I make my leave.
Very well. Oh boy, a long day of talking to the Baroness. She's a pretty cool lady.
Would that count as, I'm sorry, Ryan, quick thing. Would that count as like a social point with her at all?
Yeah, absolutely. For both of you, I would say that, yeah, you'd both earn a point with the Baroness. She is happy to hear of your curiosity.
That's wonderful.
And yeah, and feel free to remind me uh, about relationship points. I kind of fall behind in the shuffle sometimes, so feel
It's a
free to
lot
let
of
me know.
characters.
It's a lot of characters, a lot of conversations. But anyway, yeah, you guys definitely both earn points with the Baroness, Ludwig and Rowan. I'm gonna give one to you as well, Cross, because you took her suggestion of potentially murdering your house member really well. So you'll have earned a point as well.
Well, I couldn't really
In
argue it.
everyone's defense, like Rowan's known, but she told all y'all what was up. She was very
Yeah.
clear before she spoke those words. She put the cost on it, and Lois should have known better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was very upfront about the
Yeah.
danger of the information.
Yeah, if something like that happened, even it would not be good. Even Leo would be like, "She warned you."
Cross was just kind of like, yeah, you gotta protect your house. Like, I can't, like, I'm in no position to argue here.
Rowan would have been like, "This is I hate this for everyone involved," but
Yeah.
she knew what was it. Like, this was...
Okay. So that's about a hour or two into your day. Well, you apparently all went to the bank and opened accounts and stuff too. So
Yeah.
we'll say you're about halfway through the third here.
Spell Cross.
Yeah, Cross, what are you up to today?
I got nothing to do. Like, I'm just waiting.
You're just waiting, man.
Just waiting
Okay,
for a
but we
body.
can do something.
That's all good. I'm more than happy to accelerate the days if you all feel it necessary, but if you have things to do. Yeah, so because we could get to the meetings that you want, Rowan, but we could say those happen like the next day to get closer to Cross's thing.
That is
Um,
absolutely fine. Rowan's got research to do. Like she has things that she can be busying herself with in the days
Yeah.
so that we can get to
I
so that
have
we
a
can get to
to-do
Maine.
list, and all of it is like stuff kind of that I can't really do right now.
Yeah.
that's fair. Perfectly fair.
Cross, it would be interesting. Like, it could be interesting if Ludwig tried to spend time with Cross and like tried to see this side more.
You're welcome to
Yeah.
invite Cross out.
Want to go get a drink? It's like, the fuck? What do you mean?
It was like a night at the show, maybe.
He's he's a warbot. You guys could fight.
That's true, man. You both, I mean,
That's true. That's true. Like Shell, like that'd be interesting with the Shell.
That could be funny.
They could be funny or it could be interesting. Who knows? Um,
so why don't we say, for sake of ease, Rowan, what would you be up to for the rest of the day?
So aside from those meetings, she wants to get to either if at her estate there's a smithy, great. Otherwise, if she is still a member of the Fabricators Guild, so if she needs to go rent space at a fucking smithy, she wants to make some adjustments to Spot, who's about to become hopefully a very well crafted, finely articulated Sphinx.
Wow.
He's about to get a
Um,
skin upgrade.
do you have what kind of tools you got?
I've
Tinkers,
I've got
smiths?
Tinker's tools, I got Smith's tools, I think I got Jeweler's tools.
Yeah. Well, okay, so why don't we say thematically, like it doesn't take this long, but thematically, you spend the day doing a little tinkering, just having a little you got someone in the corner playing music, just you're doing your thing, having a good time.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Okay, Ludwig, it sounds like you want to make friends.
two things real fast. He'd request like I don't know if the Mets of Memory would have this, but any
Hey,
books
how's your
on
girlfriend doing?
that's a conversation I'm hoping to have after the break, maybe.
Okay,
But two things,
just
Ludwig.
curious. Go for
Come on, man, go easy on me.
it.
Uh, I'm serious. Please don't make it too painful.
We'll
I would
see.
if there was a book on the history of aberrant dragon marks and the dements of memory,
Uh, make or maybe an investigation check for a book on the aberrant dragon
or
mark.
or marks in general, perhaps. Investigation. 2, nope.
True, nope. It's a lot of music and poetry and limericks and stuff like that. This is a school for rhetoric and speaking and poetry and writing. This while there is histories and stuff here in the form of like plays and whatnot, it's not what you're looking for, or at least not what you can find anyway.
Okay. Second thing, uh, you- uh, ask Lois if she could reproduce a copy of the Crimson Butcher's journal.
I'm gonna say
Already has
she's
one.
yeah, already has one.
Yeah, Eric. Yeah, Eric distinctly said that he copied it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll say I mean, you have access to the vault. You're more than welcome to go look in the vault because I think there's like the original copy in the vault, and then Lois has the blackmail on her, presumably in a copied version. So we'll say Lois is just kind of
That
got
said, it's all
little
written in
MA.
Giant, and Lois also copied it in Giant.
Well, that would have been the personal stuff. So in your vault is
Oh yeah, personal blackmail. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So in your vault, oh yeah. So you guys have the original blackmail. So she has the original blackmail on herself, and she left blackmail copies in the vault. So she copied it all, left it in the vault. She has the originals. She also made, from memory, a copy of the Crimson Butcher's Journal, which is in Giant. So she
Yeah,
has presumably on her person uh the blackmail store, the original copies.
yeah. I would.
So if you want to go to the Leora bank vault and we could say Ludwig maybe took some time today to sift through all the blackmail.
I'm specifically talking about the the Crimson Butcher's book, but I could go through the blackmail and try to memorize it more and try and no. And I'm from Cornath. I'm a noble. If any of the names mentioned ring a bell to me.
Um, Possibly. I admittedly didn't uh write specific names for each piece of blackmail. I had imagined that like when you wanted to use it, then we'll create some identities surrounding that.
Understandable. Totally understandable.
So we'll just say for the sake of this that no, like all of this blackmail is for all of you impersonal. None of you know anyone associated with those pieces of blackmail. This is meant to be like really good blackmail, don't get me wrong, but this isn't on the same level as like what you guys found like in the crystal, the other pieces that were loose, shall we say.
Okay,
Those were like
understood.
the big gold mines of blackmail. The copies are little pieces that can be used here and there.
And yeah, I guess he might want to hang out with Cross and Shell maybe for a little bit. Who knows?
All right.
All right.
Cross, what does Cross do with his time during the day while he's
Um,
waiting?
I guess Cross has been like carousing for like a full week, so I guess it's just taking a break, just relaxing in the immense.
Having a little him time.
Yeah.
So Ludwig, you're like, because like reflectively, none of you guys are really like hung out together. Like you've occasionally had like little celebratory drinks after big events, but that's the extent of it. And you wander in, Ludwig, to go try and make a friend, which is new. So you open the door, Cross, maybe you're just like playing like a board game or something, like some chess or whatever with Shell.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Great. And Shell struggles to grasp the minutia of strategy, at least on this board, but you're kind of teaching him a little bit. And Ludwig walks in.
So I was like, well, gentlemen, how are you two doing?
Well, I'm just schooling Shell on the minutiae of the game of Dragon Chess. Do we have Dragon Chess in Eberron? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, Dragon Chess. He's more of a practical fighter than a keen tactician.
He like folds his arms and like leans back on the couch. A little like not happy to acknowledge that.
So I was like, well, I'm also a bit bored for the rest of the day for right now. I'm going to play, but or if you're both bored, if you're both bored, perhaps do you mind training at all?
Cross will kind of like look to Shell. What do you think? Crossblades with the great Draco Delora.
Oh, you framed that. Make the intimidation or persuasion check to see if you could get him to do it.
That's 21 persuasion.
The Warforged Shell looks across at you. You can't squint, but you see kind of like the color in its eye or in his eyes intensify as he's been called a poor tactician, and his skill as a warrior has been challenged against this fleshborn. And he understands the challenge, but accepts it anyway. And he will stand up, turn, and begin to walk towards the yard, kind of shouldering past you, Ludwig, as he goes, very
Wait,
challengingly.
That'll
uh,
be
sh
a challenge accepted, I believe.
sh it's like, well, I'm out. Well, Shell is out of here. Any Ross, any good way to communicate with Shell?
My honest answer here.
Why not?
It's dead end. Not. I'm not privy to the whole details of Shell's experience of the last war. Some of it, I imagine, was quite painful, and so talking to people is challenging for him. I think what the last war taught him is that the only real way to communicate, or the most raw version of communication, is a fight to the death in most cases. So don't take their animosity too personally. We warforged are a young species by all accounts, and we all learned something unique fighting in that war. And in cases like Shell, I think perhaps it taught us a harsh lesson in the way living is. So I guess I'll retract my statement of saying it's a lost cause, but well, if you really want to reach Shell, the best you might get is some respect for your sword work.
Well, let's just not do it to the death, and we'll start there.
I look forward to seeing how well he performs.
Okay, let's see. So he'll tell you what, he'll shoulder past you and he'll kind of like stop at the bottom of the stairs where you guys like leave basically residential, whatever. And will kind of gesture as if to say, like, pick your battlefield.
Is there an outside area in the not the corner, yeah, but an open area
Yeah, in the
that's
gardens.
okay? We'll find an open spot in the gardens. I hope they don't mind.
Yeah, you can find an open spot in the gardens. It's a little bit like a college campus out there, a little bit where elves and half elves are sort of working their trade on the lawn, and there is certainly enough open space. I'm not going to get Tailspire out for a practice fight.
Of course.
Yeah,
There's a moment where like Cross can speak to Shell out of earshot.
yeah, absolutely. You
I'd
could
like
go
to-
over and say, "Come on, champ."
Yeah, I'm like, no, don't make me feel the burning temptation to cut this man down, but I do need him alive, so stay your blade, at least for first blood.
If I must.
Okay.
All right, Ludwig, you find yourself out to an open portion of a lawn. You kind of select, you're like, okay, open lawn. And uh, the Shell prepares himself. Why don't you roll initiative?
And I give him a nod.
You give him a nod very unceremoniously, a little like Achilles to Hector, except without all of the preliminary talk. Just sort of like starts walking toward you. Nod. He just starts like he's going, and you're like, oh fuck, here we go. Roll me an
Okay.
initiative.
4. It was almost an 18, but 4.
Fittingly, he rolls a 19,
Yeah.
and he just starts walking towards you. So we'll say he walks 10 feet straight at you. His hand retracts into his arm, and this massive blade sort of telescopically retracts from his arm, which is essentially the equivalent of a great sword. And he starts going hacking at you.
Okay.
That is going to be 11 to hit.
Miss.
First one, you block it. Oh man, not rolling very good. Second one's a 12.
Okay,
Yeah, that
miss.
won't hit. Yeah, I'll miss. Last one's a 19.
Okay, that will hit.
So you, what weapon do you have? What's your weapon?
Halberd.
Halberd. So you half block, and then he comes for this crazy upper slash. He hit your halberd too hard, and it pushed it down. Before you can get it back up, the blade comes swinging down on you, and you're going to take 12 points of slashing damage as he crashes across you. Um, uh, he's going to stay up in your face with his big blade sword. What do you want to do?
Okay, hold on. I'm going to start counterattacking.
Okay.
You're just
He got you
checking.
once, you'll get him back. You'll get him for this, bastard.
That's not what I say.
I know.
I,
I'm just kidding.
like I said, good hits. And I'm just checking the because of the newer feats.
He slashes really hard at you, Ludwig. And we're playing a little bit plot wise here. He slashes you pretty hard, and it wasn't like a practice blow swing. Like he comes at you with full aggression. He doesn't bleed you. He doesn't get like you're not bloodied, right? But he comes at you with full aggression.
Okay. All right then. I'm going to start attacking.
Okay.
First hit. The 17 hit.
17 does not hit, bounces
Ow.
off of his armor.
Well, I'll use precision hit strike then.
Can you use precision strike after the result of the roll has been determined?
When you miss with an attack roll, you can expand one superior die and add that die to the attack roll.
All right,
If
that's all it says, go for it.
okay. Okay, yeah, hold on, just double checking. 1D. Yeah, they're D8s, I believe. +7. Okay. Okay, for damage, that's 8.
All right, he takes 8 damage. You manage to get him as you come back with your own attack.
Yeah, I take a step back and like just jab with the halberd.
Yep.
Second attack, unnatural 20.
Hey, that'll hit.
And wait, hold on, let me double check something. Okay, yeah, the new Great Weapon Master. When you deal with a creature that has heavy property as an attack that includes the halberd, you can cause weapon to deal an extra 3 damage to the target. So that 8 was an 11.
Ooh, okay. Well done.
Okay. Okay, this damage is going to be 13 plus 3. 16.
16 additional damage. Fantastic. Well done. 16 additional damage. Okay.
And then
you get him twice, really good. And then
action surge.
Action surge. Go for it.
Okay. Halberd. 15, but I'll throw in a superiority die.
Okay.
Still miss 17.
17 is a miss, unfortunately. Gets out of the way.
One last attack. 19.
19 definitely hits. Roll some damage.
10 plus 3, 13.
13. Very good.
And I'm going to use my second wind ability with my bonus action.
All right, get some health back.
Yeah, to get 1d10 plus 5 health.
All right. Excellent. You're slashing into him and denting into his armor. You can't
And
tell expression from Warforged, but by body language, he's staggered, and you maybe didn't expect the ferocity that you come at him with off that initial strikes. Well done.
yeah, and I'm gonna and that's and the, yeah, I get like I think 13 hit points back, so I'm back full up. And finally, that and the new part of Second Wind, this is like a new 2024 part, is you tactical shift whenever you activate your Second Wind. With the bonus action, you can move up to half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks.
Okay.
And with the final jab at him, I start moving back like 15 feet away from him, and I dodge whatever swing he might have tried at me.
Yeah, he did. As you safely, like, maybe we'll see that last slash just kind of batters him before he even knew what happened. He looks up and you're 15 feet back.
Yeah.
The Warforged looks, as much as a Warforged can look anything, surprised, and then is going to point his hand at you, and a bolt launcher is going to appear out of his other forearm, and he is going to take 2 shots at you with his bolt launcher.
Okay.
One's going to be a 24 to hit,
Yeah, okay.
and the other is going to be another 24 to hit.
Okay, how much?
That's going to be first attack damage is going to be 13 points of piercing damage,
Okay.
and the second is going to be 6 points of piercing damage. And then is going to also fall back to, I think it's just going to go straight back 30 feet, creating 45 feet of distance between the two of you.
Okay. Okay.
All right, what do you do?
I'm gonna use can I possibly use this is something I don't use often. How much does jump do? No. Yeah, how
Like
does
just
jump
like a
work
regular
again?
jump? It counts against your walking speed. So you have a 17 strength. If you walk 10 feet forward, which is just 1 5-foot square, really, you could then take a 17-foot long jump, but that all comes out of your normal speed. So we round
Okay.
down in D&D, so that would be 15 feet. So that would be, so it's no faster than regular walking. You can just get
Okay.
some height out of it is the
Okay.
difference.
Okay, well here's an idea. I'm going to use my Second Wind bonus action again.
Okay.
1d10 plus 5. That's a full on 15.
Okay. Fantastic. You're going to charge him.
Yeah, because I have the tactical shift ability,
You
I
certainly do.
activate. You can move up to half your speed without provoking. I think I get the full 45 feet.
You do. You're going to get the full 45 feet. But along the way, you didn't realize it had happened, but you go charging at him. Suddenly, out of the grass where he was originally standing, this small device is going to shoot right into the air, right in front of your face, and it's just going to explode in like basically a grenade of like razor blades. I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Dex save. I'm gonna use an. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna use my inspiration on that. I'm just gonna take it. That was a 3 at best.
Got it. As this happens, it like shoots up into the air. It fires these piercing blades like into your chest, and as it goes up, it wraps around your feet and just it's like a snare. You're thrown onto your back prone, and you're also going to take Okay. Um, that's going to be 25 points of piercing damage.
25. Okay, not bad. I'm almost bloodied.
Almost bloodied.
Um, just just 1 point away, I think. But I'm gonna. But Ryan, how far? How
So you
far?
would have been hit by the trap um, at, let's see here. You would have been 40 feet away, if I'm not no, sorry. You would have been 35 feet away. So you would have spent 10 feet and been knocked prone. So from your 45, you can spend 20 feet to stand back up.
20 feet to stand back up. How much would I have left over?
10, so minus 20. That would give you, sorry, that give you 20 more feet. You won't be able to get in the melee range of him for 20 feet.
Okay. I give. I won't be able to do that within that. Okay, interesting. I still feet. How far away from him am I?
So once you get back on your feet, you are 30, uh, 30, you'd be 30 feet away. So you're now 30 feet away from uh, Warforged Shout.
Okay, 30 feet. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna. I'm gonna say, all right, choice then, and I'm gonna take out my father's pistol and just fire away. Not the
Oh,
lightning
shit.
bolt. Not the lightning bolt. Just the
Fair enough,
pistol.
fair enough.
Just the gun.
Do you have out of curiosity? Yeah, so you get a single shot out of this because it's a reload. It has a reload time, right?
Yeah, does it? Bounding
Sure it
skills.
is.
Okay, reload. I have extra attack. Will be fire up on next attack.
Yep, so you'll get one shot out of that guy.
Okay.
Do you want to use the rest of your speed to continue forward?
No.
No, okay. So you stay at 30 feet, take a pistol shot. Go for it.
Well, actually, I will stay within 30 feet for now. Hold on. Yeah, miss. Never mind.
Hey, you're not used to it. It impacts your arm hard. You're not used to using pistols, and it is literally explosive. Okay. At that point,
but I'm not just finished just yet. I'm going to reload it and then move closer with him. Would I be within 10 feet of him?
let me see here. So you had 45 feet to use because of your super speed. You've used 10, you've used 20 to stand up, 30, so you have 15 feet left. No, you could run up to him, but you would be within 15 feet of him.
Okay, sure.
Okay, you run forward. You're at 15 feet. He's going to. Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Just let me check. I'm just checking.
Well, you've used your action. You've used your bonus action. You've used your movement, so you should be done.
Yes, I should.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
I thought I was missing something, but yeah. Go ahead. Okay.
Okay. So as you begin to close, maybe you're a little staggered. You don't quite make the range as you're charging him with his halberd. He is going to meet your charge, and he is going to go to swing his arm blade at you 3 times.
Okay.
First attack. That's going to be a 23.
Yeah, that hits.
All right, I'll take these one at a time. That's going to be 15 points of slashing damage.
And I'm done.
All right, this one, so you're charging him. He moves at you with surprising speed, as he does have that ability to do so. And he gets like around and under your halberd, and with surprising finesse, he like uppercuts you across the chest, and blood sprays.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, he'll take his last 2 attacks against you.
Oh.
Didn't notice. Uh, next attack's probably gonna miss with a 13.
And on that, I use my repost.
All right, you swing around, use your riposte.
Yeah. Oh wait, let me double check something.
Just make an attack roll. Oh, I don't. Unless you're using your pistol like a club, I don't think you can.
The halberd.
Well, it's a two-handed weapon. You're holding a pistol.
I put it back.
You didn't say you put it back. We're now in the moment of a reaction. You can club him with it though. Like that's an effective use of a pistol.
You might not. I'll club him. Why not? Fuck it.
All right, give me your technically an improvised weapon, but go ahead and take the normal hit because this is pretty common use for a pistol.
Okay.
So you roll like your flail, for example.
Okay, flail. Hang on. Let me get that. Hang on.
It's a plus d6 or plus 6.
Yeah. Hold on. $14, but I'll add precision because why not? It's my last one.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. What'd you roll out of curiosity?
I get 10, but according to riposte, I get to add a d8 to the hit if I hit.
To the damage roll.
Yeah, to the damage roll.
Okay. So what did you get for your attack roll?
I was like 21.
Well, hang on. You're using your precision on your riposte?
I don't see anything against that.
You can only use one superior. You can only use one trick on each one.
Okay, well, never mind.
It's all good. There might be some that specify. Unarmed striker creature, if you hit. Yeah, you can only use one superiority. You can only use one maneuver at a time per attack. You can't put a whole bunch on one.
Okay.
So you go in for this slash. He catches it with the arm blade, and he's gonna take his last attack on you. That one was a modified 20.
Okay, I'm dead. Okay, not dead, but I'm fit. But I'm not. I'm down.
That's gonna be okay. How many hit points did you have left?
Hang on. I have like 5 hit points left.
Okay, yeah, he does 9 damage to you.
Okay.
So Cross, as you're watching, boom, boom. Like Ludwig holds his fucking own in the beginning there, and then he comes in. Cross, like you clearly see first blood. Training accidents happen all the time, but you clearly see first blood. Ludwig, like he goes to swing at Ludwig, misses. Ludwig comes in for a counter at his side. He just manages to get around it and like slashes down hard at his like side there. Now to be clear, this is like, Shell Cross.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these things in training do happen with like undisciplined people, like trainees and so on. That's why we use wood swords because we can't control ourselves. So this is shitty no matter which way you see it. Ludwig, that was definitely lethal damage. You go down. You're on death saves.
Okay.
And as you go down, there's a lot of people sort of watching. Cross, you're right there. You told them not to. Shell will turn. Yeah.
I walk up like very slowly, and I take one look at Shell and I backhand him.
All right. Go for it. Why don't you make me an unarmed strike? Just
like this is gonna miss, by the way.
That's okay, but it'll still hit.
18. I actually hit him.
Damn!
You damage him. Go ahead and what's your unarmed strike damage?
It's 1 damage. It's 1 damage.
Okay, cool. But you turn around and you fucking pop him hard, and he staggers, and just kind of like looks at you and just kind of
simple order. You can't obey an order. What use are you?
No check required. He like the crossbow, the blade, all goes away, and he nods in understanding that he fucked up.
I get down and I cast third level cure wounds onto Ludwig.
All right, Ludwig, you're back.
Okay, how much is that
Uh,
third level like?
It's gonna be a lot. It's reroll ones, right, on healing or
Yeah.
not?
Not anymore. Not with the new
Yeah,
edition.
that's fine. 28 points of healing.
Trying good. Imagine what is Swan thinking of all this, by the way?
Soren, oh, that's a good point. I think Soren stood back, and you're doing your. Would you have brought Soren? I mean,
I would have told Swan. I would.
you're on the
He follows me
property.
everywhere. It says like,
Okay.
"Hey, just stand back."
Uh, I'll say that he. We'll say that he broke it up.
Okay.
Like when the first blood was drawn, and he went in for another one. Like we'll say an initiative, whatever, century, whatever. As you were
That's
taken down by his last, because he was in the middle of his initiative, so there's nothing you could do. He struck you down. Soren ran in and like shoved shell away from you, Ludwig, and gave you the opportunity to heal Cross.
and Cross then slapped him and then healed. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Soren, so you wake up to Soren kind of protectively standing between you and Shell, and Cross over you, having healed you by the light of the Sovereign Host.
Okay. Well, I pull myself up. I grab my halberd. I stick it in the ground. Like I grab my halberd. I hand it to Soren for a sec. And
Soren takes it, yeah, easily.
make sure my pistol's back in, and I say, Shell, and I'm going to walk over. And is there a crowd around us?
There's definitely students and members of the house watching this altercation. Absolutely, it's not every day that there's a
There's-
practice fight of this caliber on the lawn. So yes, people are watching.
I want to go over there. I want. I want to go. I go. Like I want to. Like I want to do it as inside of them. I go
Okay,
over
you're
there.
very well in sight.
I go over there, and I look him in the eye and I look Shell in the eye for a moment,
Yeah.
and then I hold up
He
my
is
hand.
stoic. You hold out your hand. He looks at your hand and back at you. Again, no facial expressions, but you detect genuine, like,
Surprise.
doesn't. Uh, Make me a persuasion check, Ludwig.
Okay. Okay. Uh, 23.
Give me a moment. Give me a
I
half
still
a
have
second.
one less. I have one less superiority die. I can
Oh,
add that to
no.
Commander's presence.
Fear not, that was successful. I need to check up certain things to do with our friend here. Uh, oh God, I always do this by accident. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Oops. Okay, let me see here. Okay.
What are you looking up?
This is complicated.
Okay,
For
this
some
is
reason.
complicated. I genuinely mean it.
I know he detects that. Absolutely. Let's see here.
Is it too late for me to like sort of, I guess, from behind
Let-
Ludwig, just kind of quietly nod?
No, just
Yeah.
let Shell decide this. I want to
Yeah,
see.
hey, okay.
No, you could absolutely, if you wanted to give him the nod, Cross. I'll tell you what, if you give him the nod, Cross, sure, I'll give Ludwig advantage. I mean, you succeeded, but if you want to roll again, uh,
Your call, but I'd like to let him decide.
okay, sorry, this
Okay,
is
then.
It's okay.
surprisingly complicated.
Really?
Let's see.
Uh,
Um, he looks. Oh, but he got the nod from Cross.
No, he didn't say. Cross
No.
didn't say.
The extent.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. He looks at the hand and back at you, and there's a hard moment of like surprise or uncertainty or shock. And he doesn't shake your hand, but he does like look at you in the eye. And he does give you like a like a nod, and and we'll just kind of like he can't walk away. He's got to keep an eye on Cross. That's his whole job.
Mhm.
He'll just kind of give you a like a nod and just kind of. I don't think he'll just walked across his side. From I'm almost like using Cross slightly, like maybe shoulder behind him, almost slightly like hiding behind Cross slightly. Like you get the sense that
I,
this interaction completely threw him off.
I'm gonna take another wild gamble here.
All right.
How many people are assembled?
Uh, uh yeah, a couple dozen. Like they're not standing in a crowd around you, but like some people are standing like from across the like imagine doing this in the middle of like a public park. And some people are like, oh, maybe they approach, but not that's a very familiar thing to do. And other people are just kind of watching from trees like maybe 100 feet off, you know?
Okay, I'm okay. I'm gonna visible to Shell, but maybe not everyone to the people. I say, Shell, trust me about this, and I take it and put his hand up, and it clear him the winner.
Oh, you put your hand on him and he I don't want to take the moment away from you. I'll tell you what, passive insight tells you like he didn't touch your hand. Yeah, if you put your hand on him, it might not be the
Okay,
best.
okay. Instead of that, I'm gonna say the winner, Shell, the Warforged Warrior Shell. I announced that to everyone else.
Okay, there you go. Cat. You say this the winner, Shell. You gesture to him. People in the line are like, oh yeah, well, incredible, good work, such skill. And the he's like very Shell's just like not overwhelmed, like he's oh my god, I'm gonna cry, but just like
Confused.
this is yeah, he's confused, maybe a little uncomfortable. This like a lot. This did a lot to him. This did a lot of stuff to him. But it was a very kind, upfront, and unexpected reaction on your part, Ludwig, and it throws him for a loop.
Was it the handshake or the declaring him the winner?
Probably all of it. Probably all of it.
And I look at if Cross can see me under the helmet, he can see me smiling. The smile to him a little bit.
Okay. He'll very quietly say to you, Cross, he says, my sincerest apologies, evangelical, but can we leave?
Michelle, I kind of walk up to Ludwig. Sorry about the end of that.
It happens.
Like I
Ryan,
said, horror of the wars.
it was like same of all of us. Ryan, thinking back to when Shell was attacking me towards the end, did I see like hints of like real rage there, or rage of like, oh, oops, I shouldn't be doing this, or what?
Make me an insight check. Warforged are pretty hard to read.
10.
10. There's no facial expression to follow, but you learn a lot about a person by fighting them.
Mhm.
It's a very deep conversation with words. He fought with great dexterity,
Mhm.
but ferocity, with hate.
Okay. I sensed like there was I want to deck this guy so badly. Energy
There
to
was
him,
like you get the sense that like he fought with great enthusiasm and hate, and he was excited to
Draw blood.
to cross blades with you and draw your blood. Yeah, this was you got this from him. That everything Cross has said about him not really liking he like for what or whatever, just having his animosity. You felt it. This is a warrior of dexterity and finesse and cunning on the battlefield, but for whatever reason, hate for you. Whether that's for you, for your country, you haven't done anything, so you
I know,
expect
but
it's
like
for at least your country.
I get the sense that he's fought people in Connaught uniform before.
He fought you with hate, but skill.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell the crowd.
This guy's a racist.
No, hold on. I address the crowd and say, I'm happy you all got your entertainment for today, but personally I think that'll be it for me. And I give them all a bow and head on.
Yeah, they're like,
Soren.
yeah. They really they appreciate. I mean, this is a house of entertainment. They appreciate the showmanship and the presentation. They're like, yeah, woohoo. And they kind of begin to disperse. Shell does not give approachable energy, so they kind of just disperse. They don't come up and be like, "Oh, the winner, good job." And it's just kind of ends up being you, Cross, and Shell. Shell gets thrown a dirty look by Soren, who follows after Ludwig, and it's just kind of you two on the lawn, acknowledged, but not anywhere near eavesdropping. Nobody can hear you.
Yeah, Cross will look to Shell. Despite your succumbing to your natural inclination, even though I told you not to, you fought well, and I feel much more confident now than ever before in your ability to protect me should need arise. Most importantly, I applaud your choice to use everything in your arsenal. Seems you learned well that when it comes to a fight, war or not, it's about winning, not if it's honorable.
Shell's quiet for a moment and says, "Your mission is a strange one. We are not taught restraint before the flesh born. It was an opportunity. I will do better."
It's not your fault. I have been here too long and forgotten that while I have become used to restraining myself, you have not. So it's my error for placing too great an expectation too early. But this is the nature of the mission.
I see.
Constantly biding time and waiting for opportune moments.
You are the evangelical. I am of the blade. I will try to respect your mission, evangelical Cross, difficult though it may be.
Just remember, you are my blade, and what good is a sword that cannot be controlled with absolute precision?
He'll kind of look at his own hands, and you would have seen it too, like a dexterous fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So he understands the necessity of precision as well. Says, of course.
By the by, if you ever feel a need for upgrades, Do not be afraid to voice any requests.
I I would I would be willing to be upgraded in the name of growing skill against the Fleshborn. Why does the he sort of gestures to where he fought Ludwig? Why did the Viceroy require to be I could have killed him?
Is the question why did he have to be healed, or why did he have to be?
He's asking in broad strokes why Ludwig behaved the way he did
Okay.
after Shell
After
did what
he
he did.
healed me.
It would seem the good Viceroy is it. When you first arrived, the Viceroy expressed suspicion and desired for your thoughts to be read to absolve you of any ill intent, which we both know would discern a great deal of ill intent. So it seems in failing to learn about you through invasive magical means, he seeks to learn more about you through camaraderie and understanding, the old-fashioned way. In short, he's trying to be your friend.
I have much to learn of the game of chess. He means to learn of me so he can destroy me.
I don't know if he intends to destroy you, but if he learns who and what both you and I are, he will want to destroy us. So I notice that. Continue as you are. Stay quiet. And humor his. We will continue to humor his requests, but give up nothing.
Yes, Viceroy, you
I've
should have
already
let him bleed.
sadly letting a fellow marked member bleed out into the yard while being a quite clear priest would certainly get
Yes,
me, well, would very quickly fail my mission, as I would be questioned, ousted, and all other. My reputation will be tarnished to the point of no return.
and you need him to help you build power. I understand.
It's easier if he's alive, but just passively letting him die is a very quick way to lose what little power I've managed to gain so far.
Yes, yes. I will be more precise and follow orders better.
Good. Understand that my mission is not about short-term culling of a one or two fleshborn. This will take time, a long time. We are looking to establish headquarters somewhere, preferably in Throneholm. And this may sound almost strange, but my hope is that through this house of diplomacy, we can accelerate the process of bringing Corvair into a true state of peace, to weaken them through having them demilitarize themselves.
I see. I will succeed to your wisdom and strategy.
And most importantly, perhaps the most important task of all is finding out the exact nature of how the morning was achieved, what weapon it was, who was behind it. Those are that eclipses any other task I've been given. As long as that threat remains hanging over the head of all the nations, our Lord cannot move.
Yes.
To put it in chess terms, everyone is in check. And we're all searching for the one move that will turn the game around.
Let us hope it is our great Lord who discovers these secrets first and foremost.
Anyways, let's get back inside, and I placed a hand on Shell because I know he took damage and cast a healing word for him as well. Healing word of cure wounds. So Shell will
Nice.
get a lovely 27 hit points back.
Hey. Yeah, Shell's armor seems to magically like buff out. I know Warforged, the muscles under the armor is meant to be like wood.
I almost want to say
Uh,
that like when healing a Warforged is distinctly different to how it like manifests when crosses healing people. Like with people, I guess it seems more violent, almost unwilling.
mm,
It's like a very sort of harsh restitching of all whatever of like wounds there. But with Warforged, it's like almost this delicate reconstruction of metal, precise
uh,
and like caring.
yeah, what is precise in carrying it to the metal construct is violent and
Mm.
uh yeah, very cool. So Ludwig, your being brought back
Mhm.
was not a
Bit pain.
comfortable healing. You're kind of like ripped back into consciousness as your wounds were like almost like staple almost like a yeah like
Yeah,
almost like a medical staple gun triage-esque healing that did do the job properly as it should. You're not walking around
I
with
would
staples
say
on your
I
body.
would say it leaves scars for certain.
Yeah. But it's a harsh and uncomfortable heal. And with that, let's go to a break. I do
And
have a couple of things I want to deal with when we get back.
just before,
Lois's letter and a couple of meetings coming up. But yo, let's go to a break. We're
just
long
before
past due.
we break, can I ask Soren what he thought?